In today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 mythical creatures that existed. Number 1 itself will make you question whether Middle-earth was real or not. So stay tuned for that one. With all that said and done, let's begin, shall we? Number 10. The dire wolf. It's a freak. It's a dire wolf. Dire wolves became lively and popular when Game of Thrones hit the mainstream. These large wolves are a constant companion of the stars in the show and are shown to be large, intelligent, and protective. They are not, however, just merely a figment of George R.R. Martin's imagination. They are based on real animals. Dire wolves lived during the Pleistocene between 250,000 hours to roughly 10,000 years ago. Unfortunately, real dire wolves were not the size of ponies. They were larger than modern wolves, though, and could weigh as much as 200 pounds, almost twice as much as a very large modern wolf might weigh. Their skulls are much larger compared to today's modern wolves. Ironically, though, their brains are much smaller. However, if they had bigger brains, we probably wouldn't have had amazing fossils of them. Number 9. The Siberian unicorn. Perhaps the earliest account of unicorns is by the well-known Greek historian Satish. Yes, we described a large animal with a horn on its forehead in India. It's quite possible that he saw a rhino from a distance and thought it was a horse with a horn on its head. But fossils unearthed in Siberia may have proven the existence of this mythical creature called the Siberian unicorn. It was 1.8 meters tall, over 4 meters long, and weighed more than 4 tons. It was covered in a shaggy coat and earned its nickname from the huge horn that grew out of its forehead. Yes, it doesn't exactly resemble the classic unicorn of lore. But so far, this is the closer that we can get to a real one. They were believed to have died out 350,000 years ago. The bunyip. The bunyip is a little like Australia's Loch Ness monster, in that it lives in the water and has never been photographed, despite the fact that hundreds of people have seen it. However, the legend might have had actual rational origins. The bunyip is an Aboriginal legend according to Australian history. The name means a devil or spirit, and the creature is said to look like a cross between a crocodile and a horse. The granted, though accounts do differ, bunyips stalk and kill human beings and supposedly make an eerie sound like a hollow boom, which certainly seems terrifying. Number 6. The gorilla. It's hard to imagine a world without gorillas, at least based on today's standards back then. Tales of large, hairy, savage man-beasts with bad tempers living in the wilds of some faraway place seem too good to be true. Their legend persevered until 1847, when physician and naturalist Thomas Savage managed to obtain gorilla bones, including a skull, in Liberia. Prior to the first discovery of the bones, the first recorded sighting of a gorilla was made by the explorer Hanno in the 5th century BC. Another explorer named Andrew Patel also told tales of human-like monsters visiting his campfire every morning after the humans had left for the day. Number 5. The basilisk. Sally Paid the basilisk is a mythical creature born from a toad or serpent's egg incubated under a cockerel. The terrible offspring that hatches from this egg is a half-bird, half-snake, and all evil. It is one of the deadliest creatures to menace the mythological world, and it's extremely hostile towards humans. You might be familiar with this monster from the Harry Potter book and movie The Chamber of Secrets, but the monster shown there is somewhat incomplete and only appears as a giant serpent. The basilisk is sometimes described as a giant snake, without the cockerel's head or wings. Still, its movement is unlike other snakes. Rather than slithering with its stomach on the ground, it curls forward with the front half of its body towering above the earth. Number 4. The duck-billed platypus. Can you imagine the rest of the world thinking that you're a hoax, but you know for a fact that you're 100% real? If you don't consider yourself lucky, the duck-billed platypus, however, had to spend most of its existence, mythological hearsay or worse, a complete fabrication. First discovered in the 18th century, was considered by many to be a ridiculous hoax, and not without reason. This was an age when naturalists were creating all sorts of strange creatures with the help of taxidermy and creative imagination. It was first described by English zoologist George Shaw, who wrote that it resembled, and I quote, "the beak of a duck engrafted on the head of a quadruped head. All the fakery is signed. The platypus is remarkable for many reasons." Number 3. The Cyclops. In Greek mythology, the Cyclops were giant creatures that were unmistakable in their appearance, sporting a single eye in the center of each of their heads. They were also known for their barbarity, afraid of neither men nor gods. The most famous Cyclops was Polyphemus, which attacked Odysseus in a cave and ate half of his men. Odysseus blinded the Cyclops' eye, running a wooden stake through his single eye van. Odysseus and his men escaped by tying themselves to the undersides of sheep. This sounds very implausible, though, pertaining to sheep strong enough to carry the weight of a full-grown man, but the existence of Cyclops, there might be some truth to that. Actually, for many years, there appeared to be solid proof that these one-eyed monsters really existed. Number 2. The Kraken. Originating in Nordic folklore, the Kraken was said to be a powerful sea monster, strong enough to drag an entire ship to the depths by wrapping its gigantic tentacles around the vessel or by swimming in circles around it to create a whirlpool that would drag the ship down. It was first written about in 1180, and there were many accounts of a gigantic, tentacled sea monster dragging their ships to their doom. The Kraken was said to be able to devour an entire ship's crew in a single mouthful. The myths of the Kraken is likely to have arisen after sightings of a species of the giant squid. Number 1. Hobbits. If you are even barely into pop culture, you'd know what a hobbit is. They're basically miniature humans who have furry feet and don't wear shoes, and according to stories, have a propensity to save the world from evil pieces of jewelry. Alex, though, seemed to suggest it came from a typical individual. There were also other indications that these were the bones of an unknown species, such as extremely primitive feet. Those scientists failed to determine if they were particularly hairy feet, which is a disappointment. Which mythical creature were you 100% sure wasn't real? What is now in the comments section down below? You want to watch more videos about amazing creatures, real or otherwise? Click on any of the videos you see on your screen. As always, thank you all for watching.